Hi everybody, it's Christina from Card Making Magic. Today I'm going to create a card, but I'm going to use some really old techniques. So we're going to use a baby wipe technique, and I will be using these refills from Spectrum Noir, and these are some that I've had for a long time from when I was on their design team. So we're going to need some white card, some parchment. We're using one of the old stamp sets from the original collection, and this is the flowers and tags, and we'll turn it into a birthday card. So because we're stamping, we're obviously going to need some stamping blocks. We're going to make a 5x7 card. Now I've also got the nested ovals, and it's quite a big set, but I'm not going to use all of them. I'll decide what size I want to use once I've created my card, but I will need 2 of them to create a frame and to cut the parchment. So I have my 5x7 card, and I'm keeping the fold at the top, and I've created a slightly smaller mat that will sit on the front. Now this is the piece that we're going to work on first. So from your baby wipes, you're going to need 3 or 4 layers. So I've got 3 layers there. We'll add another one. And we're just going to lay those out. And this is a glass mat. So we're just going to lay those out along there. And to make them doubly thick, I'm just going to fold them over. Now with my re-inkers, I'm going to make a blue flower. So I'm going to use the darkest of the blues, and I'm going to dot it down on my baby wipe, and then I'm going to use a paler blue for the outside, we'll make sure we've got plenty of ink down. These tubes are so old now that these rubber stoppers at the top are quite difficult to squeeze because they go hard as they get older, a bit like me. Now for the middle of this one, no, for the leaves, this is the leaves, we're going to add some green down here. And we'll use a darker shade of green along the other side. Now that'll spread out on your baby wipe. Now for the middle of this flower, I'm going to add some violet. So we'll just pop that in the middle there. Now we can add our stamps to our blocks and our leaves. So what I'm going to do is, and I'll just pop this here so you can see it, I'm going to take this flower and add it to a block, and this middle centerpiece and add that to a block, and then we'll just use these leaves and we'll add that to a block. So we've used 3 stamps there from the set. We've used the outer flower, the inner centre bit, and the little stem there. Now there's our card. So we'll take the main flower piece, we'll just add that down, and we'll stamp this randomly across the card. And we'll leave space for some leaves. And we'll stamp some of them off the card. Now because you've mixed up your own colours there, you're getting a nice assortment of shades in there. And some of the pink is just transferring a little bit, but I don't mind because that just adds to the delicacy of the flower. So we'll add another one here and another one there. Now with the leaves, now we'll leave this centerpiece till last. With the leaves, we're going to add some of these along the card and in between the flowers. Again, we'll have some of those coming off the card. And now we'll come to this bit, and this is the one that we need now for the centre. So we'll go into the darker parts of the ink and we'll just add these to the centres. So again, I'm just going to put some darker ink down again because that's not quite dark enough for what I want. So we'll put that down there. We'll pick this up and now we'll add it to the centre of the flower. That's better. And we'll just add this to all of them. Now from the old set of pens I've found the blue-grey one, and I'm just going to add some dots into the background. Now this is a technique that I did many years ago on video, and I just thought it was time to revisit some of the old techniques to refresh your memory, or if you're new, to give you some ideas of what you can do to create really pretty backgrounds for yourself. So I'm just going to carry on finishing this off now, and I'll come back to you when I've finished dotting all the pieces in. So once you've done that background, that will fit on the front of your card. You can always trim that down even more if you wish, but don't waste this that is left. Take some white card and fold it up, and then just very lightly run it down the card, and that will give you a lovely stripy effect for your background. And you can go as deep as you wish with it. But that's a really pretty look for your cards. Now you could, if you wanted to, trim this down and use that as your background on your card. That is entirely up to you. Oh, that looks really pretty, so I might just do that. So I've trimmed this down, and just to finish it off, I've taken the baby wipe again and I've just gone over the edges all the way round. So that now sits on the front of my card. I've trimmed my other piece down, and that will sit along there, and that gives a really nice effect to my card. So let's go on and do the rest. So to clean these stamps, because this is alcohol ink, I'm going to take some isopropyl alcohol, and this is really cheap. You get this from the chemist shop, your pharmacy, and all you're going to do is just clean off your stamps and your blocks and any mess that you've made on your glass mat will also clean off. Now although you've cleaned it, it's still stained because it's alcohol inks. It won't make a lot of difference to your next use, but at least you know now that they are clean. They can now be added back to the stamp sheet and they're ready to be used again. Now from the nested ovals, I'm going to pick a size that I want to add to my card, and I'm going to create a frame. So there are the two that I want. From white card I'm going to create that frame, and then using the largest one and the piece of parchment I'm going to cut another shape. So with the chosen ovals, I've added them to some white card, and because I want to cut this frame several times and I need them all to be exactly the same size, I've taken some low tack tape and I'm just going to fasten these two frames together. So that's now been through the die cutting machine. There's my frame. Remove this from the card. Keep the middle bit because that will always come in handy for another project. Keep the frames fastened together and move them further along, and then recut that. And that frame then will be exactly the same size as that one. So from my frames I've cut 4 pieces in white, but I thought it would be a good idea to add the top frame in the same colour as the backing under there. So from that backing sheet, add your frames to the centre and cut that out. And once that's been cut and that's been re-added, nobody will know that there's a gap under there. Now take the largest of the dies, and with your parchment you're going to cut that shape out, ready to add to your cards. Now I was going to use this sentiment, but I've changed my mind. I'm going to use this one instead, simply because it will fit on all of these ovals that can all be stacked together with the coloured one on the top, and that will fit on my card. So I've cut 4 of my sentiments out, one from the coloured sheet, but that's a little bit too pale. So I'm going to take my baby wipes again, and I'm going to add just a few more drops of the dark blue, and I'm going to take it over the last of these ovals. And that will give me enough space now to just add my sentiment and cut that out again. So that is a much better look for my birthday wishes, and now I can stack all these together to make a really nice deep sentiment, and that will be added to my card. So with your ovals, I've stacked 3 on the bottom, I've put my parchment in between, I've put 1 on the top, and I'm saving my patterned piece for the very last, and that will also sit on the top. And then in between there we can add glue just to the ends of the sentiment of the greeting, and we're just going to fasten that into the oval. So once we have the topper all glued, we can add all these together. So we're going to glue this to the base card. I'm going to add this with some foam tape underneath, and then I'm going to glue just around the edges of the frame, and I'm going to add that to the centre of the card. So I've added my foam pads to the back, but just around the bottom I've wrapped some silver twine, just some silver thread, and that's going to sit on there. And then the glue can go on there, and we can add this to the top, and I think we'll tuck this just underneath the silver twine like that. Now because I thought it looked a little bit too plain, I've taken the stamp set again. I've taken the Blueprint Sketch, Forest Moss and Wilted Violet, and I have stamped my flowers and a couple of leaf sets, and they're going to sit along there. And that's just a finishing touch. I think that makes it look a little bit better. And then we'll dot it with some pearls once I've done that. So there's the finished card, dotted with some pearls. That's been created from the Flowers and Tags stamp set from Card Making Magic. We've also used the nested ovals and the birthday wishes. We've created the background from alcohol ink refills and some baby wipes. So you've created your own background and your own design there. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please join me on the next one, and I'll see you again soon. And why not subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, you'll always be aware when I upload a video. Bye for now.